So I just did a video about how Dennis Prager said that the right side is the Republicans are masculinity and the Democrats are feminism. Well, I looked into that, and well, really it goes back to antiquity. He would know, he's Jewish. Yes. This is what that stupidness looked like. Seriously did. And wait till you hear this. The right being men and left being women refers to historical church seating traditions where men sat on the right side and women on the left, as viewed facing the altar. This practice originated in ancient Jewish worship. But then I've said this before, whenever they say the early Christian fathers, they're talking about the Catholic Church. So just be mindful there, because they don't get things right. And they did this too. I mean, not anymore, but some of them do. The Russian Orthodox Church, the Greek Orthodox Church, and the Coptic Orthodox Church. And then there were some Protestants that were churches that were considering reviving it. Can you imagine? Like, this is how little people know God. Like, put aside that men and women are different physically, okay? Men are stronger for the most part, okay? Throw that out the window for a moment, because we all know that. We know there's two genders. What is God's goal all along? I know I'm repeating myself for people that see my other videos, but I don't think people stop and think. God's goal is always, what do you think he just wants to sit up there while man continues to make everything a disaster? I mean, he wants you to have the best things. He wants you to have wealth. He wants you to have a fair system, but you have to fully surrender. I know but it has to start there. It doesn't mean that he takes all your free will away. No, you still have it, but you have to start with doing it his way. Baby steps. Yeah, baby steps. Not getting it when you're doing stupid stuff like this. So when Jesus came, Jesus was over here. Yeah. Now, I'm not talking about the political system, but I don't think Jesus wouldn't be on either side of the political systems. People would say, oh, no, he'd be more on the right. No, they over there, they want to suppress women. Both are attacking women, so Jesus not happy. Who was the very first person that Jesus told who he was? He said, I'm the Most High. The Sumerian woman at the well. What did he go on to tell her? Someday you're not going to have to worry about going to a building. You can worship me anywhere. You can worship my Father anywhere. Why? Because the curse was gone, but man kept the curse in place because they want their own kingdom. This is the reason Adam got the worst punishment. For one, he blamed God by saying, well, you put Eve in the garden, but yeah, I took the apple, okay? So that wasn't a good idea. But the biggest reason God said that man would curse the earth is because of this crap. Even if you look at it today, okay, because they did it early they still do it in some churches, as I said. Now, this must be a trans woman. I don't know, because I told AI, because these are all created images. I told AI, men on the right, women, okay, so I'm going to say that's just a trans woman, which means a man. Anyway, so here's what you really need to know is what each side represents. God is just not having it anymore. In antiquity, particularly in early Christian liturgy, the left side of the church symbolized the realm of evil or spiritual bareness, contrasting the right as the realm of grace with its fertile lands. Priests read the gospel on the left to face north, signifying Christ's light, renewing the frozen earth and driving out sin, per the church fathers. Yet, see, this is why Jesus didn't want a hierarchy, because they're so stupid. Seriously, I mean, it's like they complicate everything. There's a verse in the Bible where Jesus mentions that people that come along and try to complicate his word by using big words that are unnecessary, They're false prophets too. The Catholic Church does a lot of, well, they are the beast. For segregated seating, women on the left emphasized modesty and separation from men on the right, rooted in Jewish temple practices to avoid temptation. Though, yeah, so I don't think the men needed to worry about the women, having any temptation. When you're doing this kind of stuff, it's just there's no masculinity there. No knowing God, but sitting on the right, because it also goes on to say that the right side is for the noble authority and the people that know God. No, you don't. Again, God's here. That's where he is. That's the reason Jesus had more women followers. I believe, in all honesty, this is the reason, look, the Jewish leaders, they hated Jesus elevating women up to an equal status, meaning teaching them among men. They weren't having that. For 7,000 years, they've been allowed to suppress women, showing they need God because they don't know how to do the right thing. They should have known not to do this stuff. So, but yet here in 2025, almost 2026, Dennis Prager is saying stuff that the right is about the men and the left is about the women. No, this is how little he knows God. This is why Jesus said, when you get to the gate and I say to you, I did not know you. Don't be surprised when he says that, Dennis Prager, because you don't know him. You have all wanted your own kingdom, and you have this delusion you've placed on yourself that says, no, we're doing it the way God wants it. Does this seem like God would want it this way? No. And you did this all just to demean women, demoralize women, what you're still trying to do today. What Charlie Kirk was trying to do. And Jesus came to be an example of what a real man is. And there's never been another one like him. There really hasn't. Because if there had been more like him, then we would have, the natural masculinity. He was an example of natural masculinity. But he wasn't separating women. And I think that's what the Pharisees hated. Think about it. They put the women on the left side because they're evil. It's the evil realm. This all going back to what? Your resentment at Eve for taking the apple? At any time since Jesus, you could have had God's kingdom. It's the men that chose not to. It's the men that kept us under the curse because they want their Roman Empire. They want their free will. So even though Eve sinned one time in the garden, for 7,000 years since then, the men have been sinning every day, all day. It's true. And it's still there. I mean, I'm shocked that it's still there. I thought that. I mean, I really thought until I saw Charlie Kirk, I was like, ooh, ugly. Because I never liked the feminist movement. I still don't, because it got infiltrated. It really got infiltrated just by trans women who are men. And other people. I mean, it's just, but there's no need for any of this. There would have never, the men should have never taken on a construct, because God didn't give you the construct of masculinity. Again, if you really want to dissect this, God created Adam with the dirt outside of Eden. He used the dirt outside of the Garden of Paradise. However, Eve, on the other hand, she was the first native to the Garden of Eden because she was born there. Now the men would say, yeah, because God took our lung, or our rib. Right, but why did he do it that way? Do you ever seek God on these things? Why did he do it? Because really, Adam was a foreigner. I mean, he was placed in the garden, so I don't want to say, but he was a steward, where Eve was actually. So I don't make your arguments when you don't even know God. When you do this stuff, you don't know it.